Cumberland County Board of Supervisors, we are going to reconvene in open meeting. This is a roll call vote pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3712, certifying that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under this chapter. 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened, heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the public body. And 3, no action was taken in closed meeting. Do I have a motion to reconvene?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
It's now 7 o'clock. This is called to order, Cumberland County Board of Supervisors. This is our regular monthly meeting.
Mr. Chairman, we would actually need to vote to adjourn the special meeting and then adjourn, we would need to close the previous meeting.
Okay. All right, so do you have a motion to adjourn to
Closed session.
the 6 o'clock meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
All right. Now, we open the 7 o'clock meeting, Cumberland County Board of Supervisors. This is our regular monthly meeting. It's April 14, 2026 at 7 p.m. This is the call to order. Roll call, members.
Mr. Hamlet?
Here.
Mr. Newman?
Here.
Ms. Tyree?
Here.
Mr. Stimson?
Here.
Mr. Saunders?
And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is our invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you right now, thanking you for who you are. We ask and pray that you be in this meeting, that you guide our thoughts, direct our decision making. Ask and pray that everyone will be on one accord, even when we have to disagree. We ask these and all of the prayers in your name. Amen.
Amen. Next, county administrative comments. This is
Well,
Jay Scudder, our interim county administrator.
well, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, it's my pleasure to introduce the employee of the month, Miss Diana Branch. She's been employee of the month, and she is very helpful to me, I'll tell you that. So I appreciate her being the employee of the month. I have a email that the John Sears, the chairman of the EDA, wanted me to introduce tonight. What Mr. Seal says is, on behalf of the Cumberland County Economic Development Authority, I would like to provide an update on current economic development efforts and opportunities within our community. As we continue to work towards sustainable growth, we encourage the board to maintain an open mind and positive outlook regarding the opportunities ahead. Cumberland County is gaining momentum, and we are beginning to see increased interest from both entrepreneurs and established businesses who recognize the potential of our area. We believe that fostering a forward-thinking and solutions-oriented approach will be critical as we evaluate new projects and partnerships. With that in mind, we would like to highlight several areas of progress and opportunity. Prospective business opportunities. We have a large company evaluating Cumberland County for a potential project that will bring significant job creation and meaningful tax revenue to the community. We have a utility infrastructure company, a contractor, that is currently reviewing a site within the county's industrial park for future development. We have an electrical contracting company exploring another location within the industrial park for further strengthening the county's infrastructure and business base. Grant funding opportunities. We have continued support and potential grant funding for Spruceberry Farm Brewery, including agriculture and tourism-based grants that can enhance infrastructure and visitor experience. Ongoing efforts to identify and pursue funding sources to support the locally owned grocery store opening soon, and helping to ensure long-term sustainability and addressing the county's food access needs. These opportunities reflect the positive direction Cumberland County is heading. With collaboration and a shared commitment to growth, we continue building a stronger local economy that benefits all residents. We appreciate your continued support and leadership and look forward to working together to advance these initiatives. Respectfully, John Seal, Chairperson of the Cumberland County Economic Development Authority. So in addition to that, we've reached out to a company recently that manufactures aircraft parts as well, and I'm waiting for a call back from this company. I've also done some work with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership and working with some of these companies to ascertain a reasonable price per acre for land in the industrial park. And I also have reached out to qualified appraisal to provide a little bit of insight on that as well, so we can provide the EDA with a price per acre with a little bit of, hopefully solidify that a little bit. And I've also talked to one of the companies that's looking into that, coming to the industrial park, about negotiating with a fair price per acre. I met with Will Shoemate from Green Ridge, and he talked to me about your host agreement with the landfill and went over some details on that. And I believe that there's going to be some movement on that agreement sometime in the near future, from what I was conveyed. I was asked about the speed cameras in front of the school over here on 60. Those have been installed. The company that's providing those cameras, I believe there's a cost-sharing arrangement that's been agreed to by the county. And I was told by the sheriff that those should start kicking in after 30 days of the lookout signs. You have to be aware that, you know, this is an area that is going to have those types of speed cameras. That revenue will go to schools and, I presume, schools and sheriff's department for vehicles and different things of that nature that have been discussed in the future. There's a sewer project that you all are engaged in on Route 60. That is scheduled to begin the third Thursday of this month, which I think is next week, with equipment and materials being dropped off at the site. And we will have a couple of days of preparatory work in that area, which will include asphalt cutting and utility verification, beginning sometime next week. The majority of the digging will take place at night, and the replacement of the pipe is expected to take approximately 3 weeks, followed by another 2 weeks of above-ground work. And I got that update from Brian Saxton, your Superintendent of Community Operations. I think that's all I've got.
Any questions by board? Next is approval of the agenda. We have a request to amend the agenda to remove 12A, is that correct? And Ms. Johnson, is that correct to remove 12A?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, today I was made aware that the applicant is sick with COVID and was unable to make the meeting tonight, so he has submitted a request to postpone the public hearing tonight until the next meeting of the board, which would be May 12th, I believe.
Okay. All right, with that, do we have a motion to amend the amended agenda, we have a motion to approve that with the removal of 12A.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify for purposes of the record, 12A. Okay, I'm sorry, I was looking wrong. You're correct, I apologize.
Okay. We have a motion to amend the agenda, removing 12A. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlet?
No.
Mr. Newman? Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimmer? Mr. Saunders? Now we need a motion to approve the amendment.
Yeah. Now, do we now approve the agenda as stated?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Now, this is the public comment periods next. Only individuals who've signed up for the public comment period will be allowed to speak when called upon by the chairman. Members of the Board of Supervisors or county officials will not respond directly to questions asked during the public comment period. Instead, answers will be directed through the county administrator at a later date. Please provide contact information on the sign-up sheet to all proper responses by the county administrator. We have,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I may, point of clarification here. Typically, this is agenda items only. And since we just amended the agenda to take off something that I imagine that a lot of people are here to talk about, I just want to make sure, clarify that if that was on the agenda and they're here to talk about that, they should still be able to talk about that item.
Yep, I agree.
Thank you.
First up is Betty Myers.
Good evening, my name's Betty Myers, I live at 577 Deep Run Road, District 1. Actually, it's going to fall in a place, okay? Whenever I found out the Dollar General was taken off the agenda for tonight, it kind of shifted gears for me a little bit. But again, you're voting for them to go on ahead and come in. And my take on Dollar General, you all still have a very simple solution. There's a 2-letter word out there, 2 letters, it's a complete sentence, it's no. We don't want it, the people in this county don't want it, and I don't know why you keep spending your time, spinning your wheels, having them come in and meet, not only your wheels, but our wheels and the vendors' wheels, coming in here and meeting with you, even though there's a very simple solution, no. The other thing is with the business license report. I was told some time back that the local businesses would be listed in, I think it was going to call a blue book or something like that. I have since learned that there's approximately 459 businesses in the county. Yet, if I want to find a local business that does yard work or concrete work, I have to go to another area to find that. So I think that would be a big help to us here in the county. If we have 500 businesses that have licenses to do business here in the county, it would be a big help to the residents if we knew who they were and how to contact them. Thank you.
Next up is Ron Bernier.
Ron Cumberland, 51 Ruby Lane, District 2. I want to comment on Dollar General. It's not necessary. It's being built in that location solely to support the people that live in western Powhatan County. It is going to be in an area that when and if, God forbid, the landfill comes, it's going to cause a lot more traffic congestion with trucks slowing down, speeding up, going into the Blenheim Road, or trying to access 60 from Blenheim Road, and you're going to create a massive traffic problem in that area. Public don't want it. We don't need it. I've been to 2 different Dollar Generals this week, and I've seen more empty shelves than I saw during COVID. They don't keep the store stocked. They're not carrying what we want, what we need, and what they do have that's meats or produce is outrageously expensive. It's not something we need in this county. There's talk about possible utility company coming. I don't know if that's on the agenda, but it's brought up. I firmly support an electrical generation station, electrical substations, electrical distribution, within reason, okay? If we're gonna tear up half the county, running natural gas lines across the county, is it really worth it? The other thing I wanna bring up is on the budget. There's a lot of contention about the way the money is spent by different departments. We see a lot of departments ordering and buying the same stuff. When I was on the board, it was really common, it's a problem. I cannot for the life of me understand why we're not utilizing that building that we own in the industrial area, the shell building that we put up, we purchased, and we can't seem to get anybody to move into. Convert it into a warehouse. Put the bus transportation down there and, have our own employees do our own vehicle repair. Have a warehousing section where purchasing is done for everybody in the county, not each individual department buying stuff up and spending money and stockpiling stuff. Set a minimum, a maximum, like we did in the military. You get to the low point, you reorder. You get to the high point, you hold off on any order. It would be better control and usage of our tax dollars than distributing them all over the place and letting people spend them willy-nilly. That's what I got.
And that's all the public comments on agenda items only. Next is consent.
I was told the Dollar General was off the agenda tonight, so I didn't sign up, but I did have a few comments.
Same with me, they told me it was off, so I put it under regular public comment. I didn't know you were going to continue with it.
In the public comment section, you can talk about whatever you
Right, but this is
like-
right
you'd
now,
like to bring up.
so I just thought maybe.
So, yeah, you still have your opportunity in the public comment
Thank you.
at the end of the board meeting. Thank you.
Where is that?
Next is consent agenda.
Members of the board, so the items under your, on the agenda for consideration are your approval of bills, and then your approval of your minutes from your March 10th and your March 2026 meetings.
I did have a question, if I may address. Okay, when we closed out our last session, we were having a meeting scheduled April 7th, 2026 budget hearing at 7 p.m. We weren't informed that had changed. The one that we were scheduled to have last Tuesday.
Okay. Well-
Question is, that was on schedule, public schedule. I did address it with our, and I received a response on the 6th that it had been canceled. But we had to ask, why was it published?
Well, from my understanding, when Jay reached out to you all were not available in the first place for it to have a quorum. And when that was notified to me, I did public notices on the bulletin boards within the courthouse. I also removed it off of the website, and then I also pretty much updated everyone around here, so.
Okay, but my thing is, we didn't see it. I'm just asking that question. And that other special meeting was something else that we were looking at doing. So we'll take care of it. I understand where there could be confusion, but we weren't addressed as a board that it had been canceled.
Well, that communication was
Okay,
not through me.
I'm good. I heard what I wanted. Thank you.
Mrs. Scudder?
I'm sorry that you didn't get notified of that, but kind of at the last minute, we didn't have people signing up for at the board. We had some people out of town and decided to just roll it over into this meeting. I thought that everybody was aware of that.
Thank you. Any question on approval of bills? Any questions from board members on the approval of minutes? March 10th and March 20th. No questions? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlin?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Next on the agenda is state and local departments, agencies, community service provider reports, starting with Cumberland County Public Schools. Dr. Schultz.
Good evening. I want to just talk a little bit about everything that's going on in the schools. This is quite possibly one of the greatest times of the year. We've got a lot going on. Our students are active in a lot of things, and as you can see, we've got a pretty fantastic staff. Cumberland County Public Schools is in a very active and exciting time of year, with students and staff engaged in a wide range of academic, artistic, athletic, and career-focused activities that highlight our strength as a division. Our students continue to represent the division well beyond our county lines. Our band this evening, while I'm here, is at Longwood performing on stage in Jarman Auditorium, and that's pretty awesome, and we're really proud of that. Recently, we hosted a combined art show at the complex. It was elementary school, middle school, and high school students showcasing their art, and several people from the community came. They walked around the displays, they contributed to a community weaving project, and actually there was a silent auction for some of the students' artwork. It was pretty tremendous. Spring sports are in full swing. Went over to a soccer match tonight. We were hosting Buckingham. Softball was playing. We've got baseball playing tomorrow night. Track was out there practicing and working on their pole vaulting and hurdling. All those things we wish we were limber enough to do. In the area of career and technical education, we continue to look ahead at expanding opportunities for our students. In a rural community like this, it is really important to provide our students with opportunities to grow in skills. We currently send students to SVCC for HVAC and electrical. We have the HOSA at the high school, our health occupations. We have business, we have cybersecurity, we have ag, just to name a few of the programs we offer on site. Pending availability of funds, we are looking at extending that into auto mechanics, sending our students to SVCC for auto mechanics, forestry, which we have a tremendous interest in, Teacher Academy, which is a new program that they're offering. And also, we met yesterday to talk with VMA, the Virginia Masonry Association, about offering masonry as well for our students. Of course, those things all have a dollar sign attached, so it depends on the funding for those. We're also preparing for enrollment for our kindergarten students. We're really excited about that. It's always great to see the new young faces coming into the buildings. And at this time, we're getting ready for prom, graduation, which includes baccalaureate, senior project. If you have a chance, come by and see some of the students' work. It's pretty tremendous. And they stand in that classroom, present to a panel of judges, sometimes people they've never met. And there's actually a deputy for the county. Tim Doss told me one day, he said he was presenting at a training academy he went to, and someone asked him where he had the composure to do that, and he said, I learned that in high school, doing senior project, talking in front of a group of seniors I had never, or a group of citizens I'd never been in front of before. So we're very, very proud of that program. This is your invitation. We hope that May 15th at 6 p.m. you will join us for graduation at the high school. So typically there's a chair on stage for at least one of you, and we'd like to see you there in the crowd. We're also proud to recognize the accomplishments of our students in extracurricular academic activities. Our speech team had a very successful year. We had 2 state champions and multiple top 5 finishes at the state level. In addition, 22 students from our FBLA represented us at the state competition at Virginia Beach last week. And we had 5 students who have qualified for the national competition, which will be held in San Antonio this year. Again, one of those things that costs, and I know students are busy trying to raise money to attend those events. We were honored earlier in March with a visit from the Virginia Department of Education. The Secretary of Education and the new State Superintendent of Schools came to visit. They got to spend some time in our middle school. They also held a listening tour at our schools, and our culinary arts students were able to prepare a sit-down dinner for them. And they were super impressed with how professional and polite our students are, and of that we're very proud. Quick point of interest for everybody, April 20th, the elementary school is having a fundraiser at the Fish and Pig in Farmville to raise money for the playground equipment at the elementary school that is in disrepair and in some cases unsafe. Overall, Cumberland County Public Schools continues to provide our students with strong academic programs, career pathways, and enriching extracurricular activities. We are proud of the work happening across our schools and remain committed to supporting student success and strengthening our opportunities for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shirley. Next is VDOT, Mr. Ron Locker.
Members of the board, administration, Walker, I'm the assistant resident engineer for VDOT. I will run through the report for the last month. Here we go with the budget. Nothing earth-shattering here. We are on target. This is a graphical representation, again, the trend line of the amount spent. The green amount is below the budget or the spend plan, but they will merge as time progresses. And snow catches up with that, snow expenses. So this project, again, I brought it up last month. The notice to proceed, it was June, but they actually moved it to August, so we got several months until that is done. VDOT has been out ahead of the plant mix, and we're doing some spot repairs along the roads, about 45 and about 600. Chairman Newman, you had inquired about the Clinton Road traffic study, so I'll figure I'll give a further breakdown of that. The inquiry came up, I think it was October, a citizen had concerns about truck traffic along Clinton Road, so we had conducted a traffic study. What this slide here represents is the volume of traffic on that road. There's two sections, 430 vehicles a day, 450, which is on the average side, if you will, for a secondary road within the county. There were, this slide here represents accidents along the road between Route 45 on the left and Route 60 on the right of the screen. When we conduct traffic studies, we evaluate generally 5-year data. So the only two dots on there that fall within that 5-year period are what you see. One was in 2021, one was in 2025. They were both younger drivers, and they were both run off the road. They were not related to any incident related to trucks along the road. So based on the study, we'll go back to this slide here, where the right arrow is, that's where the curve is on Clinton Road. VDOT's findings were, as a precautionary measure, we went and put in, they're called chevrons along the road. We also looked at the potential for putting centerline markings along there. The threshold is 500 vehicles per day. And it's a shell condition. If you have at least that, if it's below that, it's more of an evaluation. And again, it's based on the accident data and the lack thereof and the volume of traffic on that road. The determination was not to put centerline markings. And this is what was installed. That's all I have on that traffic study. General maintenance items for the past month, it's pretty much business as usual. Again, we're conducting repairs of the asphalt ahead of the plant mix project coming up, general ditching operations, that sort of work is going on. Secondary 6-year plan will be coming up. I know it's on the agenda. It looks like a work session will be coming up in another couple weeks, followed by a public hearing on the roads, and then the acceptance of those roads based on where the board is with that. Route 60 courthouse crosswalk, really hasn't been much action on that one, other than it's still in review, and I'll just continue updating as there are updates. What is not up there, again, on the buggies and the flashing beacon, again, funding has been allocated, and that continues through the process. So if there's any significant changes or updates, I will share them with the board. That is all I have from our report, and I just make a reminder for the next slide for those in the audience, if they have any concerns or questions related to your activity out there, you can call 1-800-4-ROAD, or I'm available as well. So, any questions for me at this time?
Any questions? Thank you for the update.
Yeah.
And the next is the finance report.
Good evening, members of the board. On pages 12 to 21 of the board packet, you'll find the monthly budget report. This is for the month of March. That is for information purposes. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Board members, one more chance to think through. If there are any questions, please write them in the screen.
How are you doing on recoupment of real estate and personal property tax? year to date?
So we are, yes. So our next deadline will be in June.
Okay.
So that will be for the first quarter.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
And if there are any other questions from Mrs. Cruz?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We do have one appropriation request this evening that starts on page 22 of your board packet. Colonial Pipeline does provide an opportunity for organizations that serve along the pipeline system to apply for financial support from the company. This includes first responders in the county. The requests are evaluated based on possible impact on the local community. Darren Hurley has applied for the funding to purchase a portable radio to help address the communication needs for our first responders. After the evaluation process, Colonial Pipeline approved Mr. Hurley's request and awarded the county $10,000 to purchase a portable radio. It is my recommendation that the board does appropriate the $10,000 that we have received from Colonial Pipeline to apply towards the purchase of a portable radio for the department.
Job well done, Mr. Hurley. Do we have a motion to approve the appropriation for the Department of Emergency Services as presented, $10,000?
Second.
Mr. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree? Mr. Spencer?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Thank you.
Thank you. This is planning and zoning report, Mrs. Johnson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Stephanie Johnson, Planning Director, Zoning Administrator. This evening for you, I have on pages 25 through 29, the monthly planning report for the month of March. I still have a few conditional use permits and rezonings that are pending. CUP 2501 for Kenny's Place. There hasn't really been an update on that application for some time. It's not a completed application, but it had started. CUP 2502, Seventh-day Adventist Church. That is for a tower, a radio tower that was erected last year without a conditional use permit. Since that time, staff has worked with the members of the church and they have completed their application. That item has been submitted to the Planning Commission as a request to set for their for their regular meeting next week. CUP 2504 for Camp Parsons. They've acquired additional acreage behind the parcel that they currently have, and they are looking at possibly including that additional acreage in the existing camp. We are still working on getting an application, a completed application packet, working with VDOT and the health department to ensure that their requirements are met. Conditional use permit, CUP 2505 for Osborne Carter, lot deficiencies. This is on your agenda tonight, a request to set for a public hearing. This is just to address the lot deficiencies. The Planning Commission has recommended this to the board for approval. Rezoning 2402 for the Cumberland Industrial Park. This is a request to rezone the park from M1 to M2. Again, this is not a completed application, it's just something that staff has been working on with the previous county administrator and with the EDA. And then lastly, REZ 2501 for Valco Investments. Again, this was a rezoning request from R2 to B1. We unfortunately had it on the agenda tonight, but again, we are going to have that deferred until next month. For zoning permits issued, there have been 3 commercial accessory permits, 8 residential primary permits, 11 residential accessory, and 2 farm structure permits that were issued. There were 3 subdivisions approved. All of these were minor 2 and 3 lot subdivisions that were approved, and there are still 49 that are pending. There were 3 surveys of existing lots that were approved, and there's 41 still pending. There are currently 5 open commercial E&S permits. The 2 for the small-scale solar projects on the southern end of the county. The commercial projects themselves are getting close to completion. The projects on the ENS side are also getting close to completion, but there are some final stabilization issues that they are managing at this time. I would anticipate finalization on the ENS side probably this fall. The Schaefer Landis Farm on Old Buckingham Road, this is for a poultry litter shed. It's generally a small structure, less than an acre, that they've disturbed. The Swery Farm off of Bell Road, this is for a poultry facility. No land disturbance has started yet, but I anticipate in the next few weeks they will start moving dirt. And then lastly, the Amptill Wetland Mitigation Project off of Amptill Road. This is for a wetland restoration project of about 64 acres right along the James River. For residential ENS permits, there were 7 that were issued for the month of March. And then on the last page, at the bottom of that page, there are potential code amendments that staff anticipates hopefully getting to as soon as possible. That is all that I have for you this evening. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions? Any questions from the board on that? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next is the county attorney's report.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to report this morning.
And combined settlement. Do you have a resolution for combined settlement?
Yes, I apologize.
Excuse me.
But, we're not able to act on it. I didn't catch it's not on the agenda.
It's on it, under your report.
Okay, maybe it's the wrong agenda. Okay, I apologize. Mr. Chairman, I so apologize. Thank you for catching that. We do have a proposal for the board, a resolution for board approval regarding the opioid abatement litigation that this county has participated in. This board and previous boards have approved different settlements. Some of these settlements have been very large settlements with large companies. What's proposed now is a settlement with 6 different defendants, and they're known as kind of 6 remnant defendants. It's kind of getting to the end now regarding this litigation, and the total settlement nationwide is over $97 million. And so I recommend that the board approve the resolution agreeing to the settlement, and this is one of the settlements that the board has to approve in order to be able to participate in. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah. So we need to read it into, as a resolution.
Or you can waive the reading of the resolution, or I'll be glad I can read the resolution.
Read, please. Thank you.
Okay, let me. Thank you. A resolution of the Board of Supervisors approving Cumberland County, Virginia, participating in the proposed combined settlement agreement resolving opioid-related claims against Associated Pharmacies Incorporated, J.M. Smith Corporation, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company Incorporated, Morris & Dickinson Corporation, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company Incorporated, United Natural Foods Incorporated. Therefore referred to as the 6 remnant defendants, and directing the county attorney and or the county's administrator to execute the documents necessary to effectuate the county's participation in the settlement. There's one settlement agreement covering the combined settlement with the 6 remnant defendants. Whereas the opioid epidemic that has caused thousands of human lives across the country also impacts Cumberland County, Virginia, adversely impacting the delivery of emergency medical, law enforcement, criminal justice, mental health, and substance abuse services, and other services by the county's various departments and agencies. And whereas Cumberland County has been required and will continue to be required to allocate substantial taxpayer dollars, resources, staff, energy, and time to address the damage the opioid epidemic has caused and continues to cause the citizens of Cumberland County. And whereas a proposed settlement has been negotiated that will cost 6 opioid defendants, Associated Pharmacies Incorporated, J.M. Smith Corporation, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company Incorporated, Morris and Dickinson Company, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company, and United Natural Foods Incorporated, the 6 remnant defendants, to pay approximately $97,625,000 nationwide to resolve opioid-related claims by state subdivisions against it. And whereas Cumberland County will be entitled to a portion of the settlement proceeds despite not having filed suit against any of the 6 remnant defendants. And whereas the county seeks recovery of the public funds previously expended and to be expended in the future to abate the consequences and harms of the opioid epidemic. And whereas the county's outside opioid litigation council has recommended that the county participate in the 6 remnant defendants' settlements in order to recover its share of the funds that the settlement would provide. And whereas the county attorney has reviewed the available information about the proposed settlement and concurs with the recommendation of outside counsel. And now therefore be it resolved that the Cumberland County, Virginia Board of Supervisors, this 14th day of April 2026, approves of the county's participation in the proposed settlement of opioid-related claims against the 6 remnant defendants and their related corporate entities, and directs the county attorney and/or county administrator to execute the documents necessary to effectuate the county's participation in the settlement, including the required release of claims against the 6 remnant defendants.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the combined settlement with the 6 remnant defendants as presented?
So,
Second.
Mr. Hamlin?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimpson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Next on the agenda is old business, which we do not have any. New business is next. Request to set public hearing. This is for Cup 2505, Dabney Carter. Ms. Johnson, is this the same as Osborne Carter that's in your?
Yes.
File?
Yes, that is the same. So I am requesting that the Board of Supervisors set this for public hearing at your next regular meeting for May 12th.
Request for the date is May 12th. Any comments? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
second.
Mr. Hamlin?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimpson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Thank you.
And next is the VDOT secondary 6-year plan.
Yes, members of the board, April 21st of 2026, the board will be holding a workshop with Mr. Brian Locker here, and during that time, we will discuss potential road changes and stuff that you all want to bring to the table. So we're just requesting that a public hearing for your findings in that workshop be set for May 12th, 2026.
And that'll meet the timing requirement, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what time is the meeting on April the 21st?
6 o'clock.
Any other questions from board members? Do you have a motion to approve April 21st, 2026 for the public hearing?
May 12th. May 12th.
I'm sorry, for the VDOT secondary 6-year plan.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlin?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimpson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Thank you, Ms. Burch. Next is appointments. Economic Development Authority, Mrs. Linda Card. Do we have a motion to appoint Mrs. Linda Card to the Economic Development Authority?
She is here. So this is Ms. Card. And I just want to put it on the record that the EDA did review her application at their month meeting last month, and they are all in agreement for you all's consideration for her review.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlin?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimpson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders? Welcome, Ms. Card.
Congratulations. Next on the agenda is the PPEA. Mrs. Scudder?
Yeah, over the last several months, a company has been reviewing your courthouse situation and possible, had meetings with the judge And I have subsequently shared some information with you on that. You received an unsolicited proposal under the PPA guidelines. And based on conversations with you and some of the stakeholders involved in that proposal, there have been quite a few questions surrounding the proposal. You have 45 days to make a decision on whether to accept, reject, or go forward with a proposal of that type. I know this caught some of you off guard, I think, some of the aspects of that proposal. And, you know, there are also some, a breakdown in the proposal about the Luther P. Jackson facility and Boone County offices. And there's also a breakdown about actually modernizing for safety standards the courthouse and expanding the courthouse. And I think that based on some of the conversation I've had with stakeholders and you, that you're not quite prepared to act on this now. That's the impression that I get. And I'm just open to comments about what you all thought about the proposal. And that's kind of where we are on this, an unsolicited PPEA proposal.
Questions from board members?
Mr. Scudder, do you have any kind of presentation prepared for that, with that proposal?
No, I don't.
Because if we're going to vote on something, I think it's important that the public is aware of what we're actually voting yea or nay on.
Yeah. The documents that have the meat and potatoes are proprietary. So can't be shared with people outside the stakeholders that make the decision on going forward with the proposal for that. So it's kind of complicated about, you know, making a presentation and divulging information under the PPEA guidelines.
So specifically, what's the request? Is the request for a process, or is it a request for the guideline itself?
It's to, if you accept the PPEA proposal, then you are engaging the company that submitted it to go forward. There is, you do have a public opportunity where you offer openness to accept other proposals within a specific period of time. So under the PPA guidelines, you've got timelines that, that other proposals can come in, but again, they're not subject to the proprietary information in the unsolicited proposal that came in first. So within the timelines of submitting other proposals, sometimes it gets a little limited, and I think some of you have heard that information from some other jurisdictions that are going through the same thing right now.
Mr. Chairman, it may be helpful if I could add, and you may be aware, the board can reject the proposal, and that does not close the door from that company or another company later on soliciting, submitting an unsolicited proposal. Just so the board knows.
Do we have a motion from any board members?
I would like to motion to reject.
I'll second that.
Mr. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree?
Aye.
Mr. Stimson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Aye. Thank you, board.
I will want to say that in meeting with the judge and people that have been involved in this process, that we are going to keep this process open, and we're going to keep this process moving forward, so we can decide on what we need to do to meet the needs of the courts and the community.
Next item on the agenda is public hearing. Item A was removed. Thank you. Item B is the recommended 2026 tax rates. So, Mr. Scudder, would you please provide an overview?
Okay, budget public hearing for FY 2027. Summary, in February and March, the Board of Supervisors held budget workshops with the school board, county staff, constitutional officers, and external agencies. During these workshops, the board was presented with budget requests from these agencies as well as their current and future challenges, accomplishments, and their overall impact on Cumberland County and its citizens. As part of the budget process, the county administrator's recommendation for FY 27 budget will be presented this evening. And on April 21st, 2026, the board will adopt the 2026 tax revenues for FY 2027 and the FY 2027-2031 CIP. Board action requested. The board has requested to hold the public hearing to consider the county administrator's recommended 2026 tax rates, recommended 2027 budget, and recommended 2027 third CIP. Recommended 2026 tax rates. The recommended budget does not include any changes in the current tax rates. The estimated real estate rate, 1 cent, brings in $128,692 in revenue per penny. The estimated personal property tax rate of 1 cent equals $8,252.66. So the actual levy is real estate and manufactured homes, 60 cents, personal property, $4.50, personal property for emergency services, $4.50, airplanes, 50 cents, machinery and tools, $3.75, and heavy construction material, $3.75, and public service corporations, 60 cents. Real estate and personal property tax rate compared to neighboring jurisdictions. I know that you've seen this many times, but kind of how we stack up compared to other jurisdictions. Cumberland, $4.50 on personal property, and I said 60 on real estate. Buckingham, $4.05 on personal property, 60 cents on real estate. Prince Edward, $4.50 on personal property, 39 cents on real estate. Powhatan, $3.60 on personal property, and 75 cents on real estate. Amelia County, $4.25 on personal property and 46 cents on real estate. Nottoway County, $4.12 on personal property and 48 cents on real estate. Charlotte County, $3.46 on personal property and real estate, 41 cents. Goochland, $3.75 on personal property and 53 cents on real estate. In Lunenburg, $4.05 on personal property and 37 cents on real estate. So, you know, in just observing these trends, you guys pretty much are kind of in sync with your neighboring jurisdictions. And these haven't changed for quite some time. If I go back and look at your tax rate, you've equalized it many times over recent assessments. So pretty much your tax rates are pretty much staying the same. Any question on tax rates? Recommended 26 tax rates, any questions? Recommended 2027 budget?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Thank you.
So officially, at this time, we will open the public hearing. However, there are no citizens signed up to speak. So this is regarding 2026 tax rates. 10 people signed up for the budget and 2 people for SIP. But for tax rates, we have no public speakers. So no other citizens signed up to speak. We will now open the floor for board member discussion. Public comments will remain open until April 21st, 2026. All interested citizens will have the opportunity to give written or oral comment until then by contacting our deputy clerk, Tiana Branch, in the county administrator office. open for board member discussions.
I'll go. Just want to say that thank you for putting together your budget that we'll be seeing here shortly. One thing that I'm glad that we're able to do, because for me it's a non-starter to raise taxes. So I'm glad that we're able to keep our tax rates on everything the same. I would like to put in there, I don't know how we would go about doing this. I'd like to discuss it with the board. But I know one thing that's not listed as a tax rate when it comes to equipment. I was looking at some other localities and creative ways of doing it. When it comes to medical diagnostic equipment, right now I believe that if someone were to open a medical facility in our county, which we have none, they would be paying a high equipment tax rate based on what the equipment rate is. I don't know if this is the right time to do it, or if it's something that we could do at our next meeting, but I would like to propose a $0 per $100 of assessed value on medical diagnostic equipment that's used in a medical facility for treating patients. So that's pretty much what I wanted to bring to the table.
That's it. Based on that, my recommendation is to touch base with Commissioner Revenue, determine the impact, and then
with all due respect, Mr. Chair, there is no impact because there are currently no medical facilities in our county. My goal is to make it a reasonable service, allow for a service that this county needs to take up shop here without being a financial burden on that service that is providing a much needed service.
we're talking human medical equipment, but we have 2 veterinarians here, and they have medical equipment. So,
And also you have to check with her whether you can actually do that under state code.
correct. I was going to add that. You make sure that we're following state code. And just simply put, in that email to all the board supervisors, and you can consider it on the 21st. Any other comments from board members? Yep. Good, okay. With that, we're on to public hearing, item C, which is the recommended fiscal year 2026-27 budget.
So I'm going to provide you a brief overview of your budget. Over the years, I've kind of used this from time to time when we aren't making any big changes in tax rates or really within any of our departments on this compared to other years prior. So sometimes I use the word a status quo budget, and I don't mean that with, I mean it with respect, but it's kind of, that's the way I look at it. This year, you're looking at a 2% across the board increase for all staff. No other salary increases are included. The budget impact of that is $85,000. I believe you gave 2% last year, or was it 3%? 3% last year, so it's a little lower than last year. The county absorbs 100% of total health insurance. We experienced an increase of 7.2%. This has happened pretty much statewide, so you're right in with everybody else. You're actually percentage-wise a little on the lower end of the spectrum compared to some other jurisdictions in the state. That budget impact is $71,000. Full-time position for planning and zoning, that budget impact would be approximately $78,000. Over the years, this has been an ongoing request. I know it has been in recent years. You pretty much have a one-person shop there. And your building permits have been going up, so there's more work involved in that department than there was 5-6 years ago. You've seen the growth statistics. Capital improvements include funding for the elementary school roof only. Other CIP items have been placed in following years and/or will be requested when funding is needed. An increase in the use of rollover balance. The recommended budget use is $1,850,000 in rollover money. That's an increase of 51% over current years from the adopted budget. That number would equate to 14 cents on the real estate rate if you were in the red. So one of the things that I want to point out is over the past several budgets, you've had expenses over revenues. But at the end of the year, when the financial report is done, you've ended up in the black. I think that's for the last 3 years. So you've been fortunate that you've ended those years, even though in these budgets you've shown that you're going to go dip into the fund balance. So you've been doing pretty well by the grace of whatever, and showing that trend. You're okay until you start dipping into the red. And hopefully with some of the economic development and some of the building that's going on, you'll continue on your trend where you are ending up in the black every year. I'm not sure how long you'll be able to sustain that, but that's your trend. Items that are not included. Last year, the school was recommended level funding. I believe that you gave the schools a little bit of a bump in the budget based on the county administrator's recommendation of level funding. I've recommended level funding again, and that's just where I'm standing. Not fully funding Department of Social Services as requested. That's another $350,000. No increase for CSA funds. I know you're familiar with CSA funds. You can look at your trends in CSA. You know, it just depends on how that ends up each year. You're obligated by federal law to comply with CSA and fund CSA. So that can be a mixed bag for you. No increase for Crossroads. The funding remains equal to FY26 of $46,334. They had requested an additional $12,248. No funding for a vehicle for animal control. That budget impact is $60,000, but there is a CIP number for the sheriff of I think $160,000. I'll get to it, but if they have residual vehicles, they will make them available to the county if they're serviceable. And I think you're familiar with that. We've done it over the years. No additional funding for volunteer fire departments. An additional $30,000 was requested to be allocated equally among the 3 fire departments. I believe you funded them last year in the budget. No additional funding for the health department. An additional $18,760 was requested for renovations and rent increase. No funding for the IT department for a part-time position. That would have been a budget impact of about $33,000 to $78,000. So that department remains the same. No funding for an EMS part-time position. That's a budget impact of $50,000 to $76,000. It does not include funding for speed cameras, but your speed cameras have been installed and you have an agreement with the company that paid to have that done. It's a cost-sharing agreement. And the other thing about the speed cameras, you can only use them in specific areas, so that's probably the only area in the county that I can really think of that they may be applicable. Does not include a possible solar project funding that could be recognized in FY27 of close to $400,000. Recommended FY 2027 budget general fund revenues. General property taxes, 58%, that's $13,090,823. Other local taxes, $1,590,759. Permits, fees, and licenses, $172,600. Fines and forfeitures, $80,000. Use of money and property, $357,600. Charges for services, $556,160. Miscellaneous recoveries, $4,463,635. State revenue, $1,924,606. Federal revenue, $202,574 for total revenues of $22,438,757. And I pushed the finance director a little bit on stretching those revenues out some to the back. So we'll see how that ends up in your CAFR next year. Recommended FY 2027 budget. The recommended general fund revenue exceeds the FY 26 initial adopted budget by approximately 6%. The tax revenue, charges for service, and the increase in rollover funds contribute to the increase. Do you want me to go through those numbers again, or are you okay with them on the slide? Okay with them on the slide. Another recommended, I mentioned earlier that since FY21, you have increased your fund balance, even though sometimes you've approved the budget with rollover funds or dipping into the fund balance. But at the end of the year, you've ended up in the black, which has been a good trend for you. I hope it sticks. So currently, your fund balance is right under $12 million. This is your recommended FY 2027 budget based on what I just went over. General government administration, $2,349,439. Judicial administration, $885,247. Public safety, $5,499,831. Public works, $2,418,599. Health, $201,794. Education, a community college donation, $34,937. Parks and recreation and cultural, $334,418. Community services, $412,474. Community services, $20,500 for a departmental expenditures of $12,157,239. I'm going to skip this one because pretty much we've... General government administration, 2026 adopted was $2,119,666. The difference in this recommended budget is $229,774, an 11% increase. Judicial administration is an increase of $87,045. That's an 11% increase. Public safety is a $247,515 increase. Public works is a $148,016 increase. And health department is negative 1%. Community college is a negative 7%. Parks and rec and cultural is a negative 1%. And community services is an increase of $101,313 at 33%. So overall, it's a 7% increase in your recommended budget for the general fund expenditure. Excuse my voice. Recommended expenditures by fund. General fund, $12,157,239. Social services transfer, $602,733. School fund transfer, $5,721,541. Capital improvements, $500,000. Debt service fund transfer, $2,929,592. CSA transfer, $220,071. Utility fund transfer, $190,986. Economic development fund transfer, $116,500. $595 for a total of $22,438,757. Transfer to the school fund, $5,721,541. School transfer to social services, $602,733. Transfer to Comprehensive Services Act, $220,071. Transfer to Debt Services Fund, $2,921,592. Transfer to Utilities Fund, $190,986. Transfer to EDA, $116,595. Transfer to Capital Improvement Fund, $500,000. Total transfers, $10,281,518. Transfers historical data. If you want me to go through these, each ones I will, but it just shows you where each of these transfers have been in line over the years. And as you can see, your increases in school funds, social services funds, some degree CSA, your debt services remain the same, your utility fund has gone up some, your EDA has gone up a little bit, and your capital improvement projects, which come up from time to time, is kind of what you have decided to fund over the years. The obvious increase in this has been increases in school funding that started back in FY23. So this is your general fund revenue estimates and your general fund expenditure estimates. I don't know that you want me to go through those, but I will if you want. No thanks. Transfers to the other funds, pretty much what we just went over. Just recapping that. And there's your recommended 2027 budget. Total proposed budget is $43,376,784. And we're open to questions.
So, part of the public hearing process, at this time, we will open the public hearing. There are 10 citizens signed up to speak. We'll call each one by name, and you'll have 3 minutes at the podium. Starting with Reginald Sims.
Good evening, board members. This is new to me, but I just want to say to you all, I want to thank you first for allowing me to express my concerns. I come to share with you that I had an opportunity to the bus department with Mr. Bell. I had talked to him previous times about the concern about transportation, the times that he has to deal with providing the services. And this recently, I had an opportunity to go over to the bus shop, and I was appalled. I truly was, as the conditions and what the mechanics had to deal with to work. They had a canopy that they had set up so the guys would be working out in the rain serving the buses. All in all, my appeal to you that as you go through your budget, consider the idea that at some point in time, that area is going to, or that building is going to have something done with it. I'm a 76-year-old man that's been in the county all these years. I understand that if you can't get your children to the school in a safe manner, then you put them at risk and their parents are concerned. So as you go through your budget, would you please consider that there is something that we're going to have to do to make it a little safer and provide the means for our mechanics and those others that are providing those services for our children as they travel to and from school. My understanding also is that not only they serve the buses, but also some of the county vehicles. And if you have it in your ability to look forward to where you can provide a place for the mechanics to work, I will tell you this, as I looked over, the mechanics are somewhere in my age, somewhere near retirement. And I do know for a fact that if you're thinking that you're going to get new guys to come in to work in that facility, you're going to have a problem. So thank you again. I pray that you will look at that issue at some point in time so that we can provide that safety net for the children, and also looking forward to some mechanics coming in that are younger, that are willing to work. That I will tell you for that this one did not take a seat, is that if they go to school, get certified, and come back and look at that place, they'll laugh at you, thinking that, why would I want to work at this place and with those kind of conditions? Thank you again, but please consider the possibility of spending more money for transportation department for Cumberland County School. Again, thank you for this time.
Next up, Nick Lane.
Good evening. My name is Nate Lane. I'm actually a teacher over the high school, but I'm kind of here as a parent. Number one, I have 2 children that have graduated from Cumberland County Schools. My daughter Dean graduated in the top 10 in her class. She actually graduated from VCU at the age of 19, only spending about $5,000 for her entire college education because of the programs that were offered through Cumberland. DE, Governor's School, etc. My son Early was also an AB student. When he graduated, our previous superintendent, Dr. Jones, made me so proud of the dad. He stood in front of everybody and said, this young man, his direction is the future of our students in the school, because Early was the first student that both was a DE student and got his associate's degree, but also went through the welding program through Southside Community College and graduated as a certified welder. Probably making very close in his first year to the same amount of money I do as a 23-year teacher in Cumberland County with 2 master's degrees. So having said that, VCU is doing a study, and they are coming and interviewing a lot of teachers at Cumberland. And the study that's going through VCU is, why do highly qualified and good teachers stay in Cumberland County? Where the pay is not that great, some of the facilities are a little rougher, the air conditioner doesn't always work right. And the reason is this. I wasn't allowed to go to Cumberland School because I got expelled locally and my record was too bad for Cumberland to admit me. But I was born here, and I left for 20-something years and I came back. And the reason I came back and the reason I stay is this. This school is not only the largest employer in the county, but it is also the opportunity for the people of Cumberland County. It is where they get to make something of themselves. Some leave for 20 years and come back and bring their 4 children with them. I still have 2 kids in that school. I care about the programs that are there for them. I care about the quality of those programs and the diversity of those programs. It was said earlier from an economic development standpoint that we need to be forward-thinking. I'm asking the board to be forward-thinking and understanding that the future of Cumberland County begins and ends in that school. And that the people of Cumberland County, all of them, the best people of that county go through that school because all of them go through that school. It's the heart of our community. You said earlier with respect, Mr. Hamlet, that you weren't interested in tax increases, and I appreciate that. I don't like paying taxes. But if you ask me what would be worthwhile risking a small tax increase in Cumberland County, I would tell you that it is our schools. And it's not my pay. I'm not talking about it for me. I'm talking about it because I want our kids to have auto tech. I want them to have computer classes. And I want the one thing in Cumberland County that gives them control over their future, and that's the funding for that high school. And I ask you to approve the budget. Thank you.
Elizabeth Jamerson. Dr. Jamerson.
Good evening, Liz Anderson, 396 Pleasant Valley Road, so 5th District. And I'm here tonight to talk about the school budget. Cumberland County Public Schools has submitted its budget for the 26-27 school year. We were only asking for the minimum necessary to meet the required local match. If the Board of Supervisors funds less than that, then the school division will also lose state dollars because the locality did not provide its share of the local match. I know Cumberland is a poor county. Our citizens know it's a poor county because approximately 15% of them live in the poverty range. When you talk about childhood poverty, we're talking about twice the state level. So we have children and parents who definitely know that this is a poor county. Families who live in poverty lack reliable transportation. They also aren't close to food sources often. But parents send us their children, hoping that we will keep them safe, we'll see that they are fed, and teach them the skills that they will need to be successful in life. Education is the key to breaking the cycle of poverty, which is why school funding is so important. It's imperative to start education early, but without adequate funding, pre-K might have to be cut. Good teachers are needed to provide quality instruction, but if we don't pay them a competitive wage, they'll go elsewhere. We need to make sure their children learn skills and trades to be able to get jobs, but we might find it necessary to cut some career and technical classes. We might have to cut other things that are not mandated. That might include athletics, art, music, and do away with programs such as governor's school. The school division is already operating on a tight budget. Many federal and state grants have disappeared. They're no longer available. Costs for goods and services are increasing. Our bus fleet is old. Computers don't last forever. All year long, we save our money for emergencies. If we're lucky and have no major emergencies, we use the end-of-year money for things like replacing buses and doing general repair work. At least, we used to. Now, however, we're expected to return a lot of the end-of-year money that we counted on for our buses. So there they go. No one ever said education was cheap. But as Ben Franklin said, if a man empties his purse into his head, no man can take it away. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. So please consider fully funding the school request. Thank you.
Mrs. Shores?
Good evening. I'd like to share with you the real impact of flat funding our schools, what it means to our students and our community. At first glance, flat funding seems like stability, but in reality, it is a cut. Costs continue to rise, utilities, transportation, materials, and staffing, and even in recent weeks, our fuel costs. Over the past month, our fuel costs have increased $20,000 because of the increase in gas and diesel. And I want to be clear, we're not asking for extras. We simply want the minimum needed to access all of our state funds, what it is that we need to maintain services for our students. With the proposed local funding and the potential loss of state funding tied to it, we're facing a shortfall of approximately $1.1 million. To absorb that, we will not fill 3 vacant positions we currently have, meaning less support for students and more strain on staff. It also means that middle school sports may need to be eliminated. The cost in that is not in stipends, the cost in that is the transportation and the officiating. The real cost is the loss of student interest in coming to school. We would lose support for class size reduction at the elementary level, meaning larger classes and less individual attention for our students. Our pre-K program would have to be drastically cut, limiting early learning opportunities for many of our students. Summer school would be limited to credit recovery and testing. And we would lose our after-school program, which provides critical support and structure for many students. Our career readiness programs would also be impacted. Currently, we offer HVAC, welding, electrical. We're looking at auto mechanics, forestry, teacher academy, masonry, and we also offer a Microsoft Academy. This serves about 24 students a year, which is roughly 1/4 of our senior class. So it's pretty significant. In an Aurora community like ours, these programs matter. They allow students to graduate with certifications and go directly into the workforce. We are already learning from local businesses like Napa that it is very hard to find qualified mechanics. They're actually excited that we're considering adding that program. Our programs help meet that need for them and for other businesses in our community. These are not extras. They are investments in our local economy and our future. Flat funding puts all of this at risk. Again, we're not asking for more. We are asking for the minimum required to continue serving our students. I urge you to consider the real impact of flat funding. Thank you.
Next is Luke Fleischman.
Good evening, board members. My name is Luke Fleischman, and I live at 1304 Sports Lake Road in the Hamilton District, #1. I'm a retired educator, and I've maintained a CDL license for over 30 years. I've been a volunteer bus driver, and several years ago I even drove the cross-country team to meets here. I'm here this evening to speak on behalf of the Cumberland School Transportation and the Bus Garage. I recently toured it with Mr. Bell and Ivy Shop. The current facility is outdated, unsafe, and fails to come close to accommodating the needs of our county schools' fleet of cars and buses. The existing garage cannot even house a bus, and our mechanics are relegated to working on vehicles in all weather and conditions. And as there is no bus lift, they must work from garage creepers in poor lighting and conditions. This is a clear constraint, a safety issue, and physically taxing. This brings me to another pressing issue. Several of the dedicated mechanics in the garage are nearing retirement, and 2, I think, are even dealing with cancer. Attracting new mechanics and future employees will be a challenge. Aspiring career mechanics will not likely choose to work in this competitive and lucrative field in the challenging environment of our current garage. It would be great to have a facility that could serve the physical needs of a true bus garage and even provide space for career and technical education opportunities. Why can't we train and inspire our current students? ASE, Automotive Service Excellence Certification, or diesel mechanic courses would likely guarantee that a workforce would be in the pipeline. A commercial driver's license class would empower so many with a lifelong credential and skill and address the problem of bus driver shortages. I believe we have 2 substitute bus drivers, and those are 2 of our mechanics. While I recognize that school funding is projected to be essentially flat for this year, this is an overdue concern and need. Our schools rely on safe transportation. We can't operate without it. I encourage you to make this a priority. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Ashley Postins, and I'm a teacher, resident, and parent here in Cumberland County District 5. I've been employed at Cumberland County Public Schools for 15 years. I know you have a difficult task balancing the budget, and I don't envy the tough choices you have to make. However, I am here tonight because one of those choices, the decision about funding our school, carries a price tag far higher than any dollar amount on a spreadsheet. In a small community like ours, the school is more than just a building where children learn math and reading. It is our heart. When you provide level funding to the school, you aren't just cutting a department, you are thinning the life of this community. We are talking about the loss of essential personnel and programs that define our children's success. Our paraprofessionals are not extras. They are the hands-on support that allows our teachers to teach and ensure our most vulnerable students don't fall through the cracks. They are crucial to our students' education and effective instruction. If class sizes become smaller or larger, the loss of paraprofessionals will be detrimental. Our pre-K program. This is our first chance to get it right. Cutting funding to pre-K doesn't save money. It simply pushes the cost of remedial support further down the road. Without these pillars, the quality of education we've worked so hard to build begins to crumble. For a community that lacks public health care, daycares, and early childhood supports, our pre-K teachers are more than teachers. They are the students' first step into education. The people of this county are not asking for a handout. We are already stepping up. Right now, our community is working tirelessly to fundraise separately for a new playground. We are hosting events and digging into our own pockets because we believe our children deserve a safe place to play. Educators are asking the public to support them every year as we begin the school year to provide supplies and items that make our school more engaging and supportive for our students because we know the funds are not available. Again, we understand money is not falling out of the pockets of our county budget, but our community has demonstrated that education is important and our kids are worth it. But while the community can rally to build a playground and support individual classrooms, we cannot and should not be expected to fund the basic operational necessities of a public school division. We are doing our part and we need you to do yours, and that is why you were voted into the position you have. We trust that you will do what's best for our community to continue to grow and prosper. This isn't about tonight, but about our future. A budget is a reflection of a community's values. Please don't just look at the numbers, look at the faces of the families who rely on the school and its services. Keep the heart of our community beating strong, and thank you for your time and your service.
I haven't heard much of it. Good evening, members of the board. As you know, you heard, my name is Joanne Vaughn. I'm a lifetime resident of Cumberland County. I live in District 5. Robert Saunders is my representative. Everything that I wanted to say tonight basically has already been said. I'm here asking you all to please fund the Cumberland County School Board budget fully. I learned about the level budgeted and I learned a lot tonight. But I'm speaking as a concerned citizen, a concerned great-grandma. I have 2 great-grandchildren in Cumberland County school system. Both of my daughters came through Cumberland County school system. They got a great education. One of them, she's getting her PhD degree. The other one is an accountant. And that's all because Cumberland County Public Schools supported them. My great-grandson is autistic. He's in kindergarten at Cumberland County school system. And he is thriving because of the early intervention that he received in the school system. And I know it takes money, and I heard all this, every penny you're spending, I'm sure you stretched. But I'm asking tonight to fund the school systems so they will be able to maintain the level of education that the kids are getting here at Cumberland now. Any cuts, I'm understanding things tonight that I had no idea about. If you don't come up with the local money, that you will lose the state money. So I'm asking you, whatever it takes, and I know you're good people, I know that because I know some of you. And I know that you want Cumberland County to be on the map for educating our children. You're talking about businesses coming into the county. What do they look for when they want to come? They look for a sound school system. And if we aren't able or willing to step up and fund the school system so that the teachers can stay here in Cumberland County and make a decent living, you're not going to get businesses to come. And I can't tell you how you need to get the businesses to come. That's your job. But I'm telling you to please do your job, support the schools, and keep Cumberland County school system operating at a high level that is operating now. And I also want to add that I visited the bus transportation building. It is appalling. You all need to do something about that. That is disgusting. And I ask you, please, those mechanics are older and the conditions they're working in is probably, having some effect on their health. So I ask you all to please consider funding this school. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Wendy Tillett,
385 Cyrus Road, District 4. I stand before you tonight as a tax-paying citizen, dedicated educator, and a proud resident of Cumberland. I'm not going to be repetitive too much. I'm going to kind of skip through what I had written out here for everybody's time. I know we're all tired, ready to go home. I did want to reiterate that we will be losing valuable state money if you don't fund the current budget. A total of $1.1 million, which is devastating to a small school division like ours. I do want to ask, are other agencies facing the same situation? If DSS or police, fire, rescue, or any of the other departments, I know everybody has their hand out, but if they were at risk of losing state funding because the local match wasn't met, I would stand here and advocate for them just as strongly. Losing money that's already within reach simply doesn't make sense for any part of our community. I also invite you to look at surrounding counties. You'll not find another division stretching resources the way that we do. Our staff is asked to do more every single year. You don't have to look far to hear the stories about the growing demands placed on school staff. Children are coming to us less prepared than ever before, bringing needs that go far beyond academics, and too often we're asked to meet those needs without the level of support that's truly needed. Our teachers and staff give more than what's in their job description. They spend their own money, sacrifice time with their families, and pour everything they have into caring for and supporting our children. At the same time, we're writing and managing grants without a grant writer. Those funds don't just appear. They come from hours and hours of extra work by staff who are already putting in 10 plus hours and working weekends just to stay afloat. Over spring break, I was calling Mr. Hoyt, the finance guy. We're trying to get this grant to get some playground equipment. We have a portion of our playground that's condemned. Right now it's fenced off. The children get to go out every day and just look at it and wish they could get on, but it's condemned because it's not safe. It's over 30 years old. We're fundraising on our own time to replace it, and we'll continue to do that because we're committed to our students. We're not asking you for money for our playground. We should be able to, but we're not. It's difficult to explain why we have to do that fundraising when we pay our taxes. We're still working weekends to provide something as basic as a safe playground. We talked earlier about the BPI program. That's our preschool initiative. It's a valuable program. Some of our teachers are here tonight. They're wonderful people, and they are the heart of starting children's education. They're the first people that they see when they start school. Continued transportation challenges. The larger class sizes would be detrimental. One of the things that makes us so wonderful is our class sizes don't go over 20. So that's really important. If we had to cut 2 of those positions that Ms. Shores was talking about are at our elementary school. If we have to cut those, we'll probably have to cut a pre-K program and another position, which will make class sizes bigger. So please fully fund our schools.
Lisa Winston.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Again, my name is Lisa Winsler, and I am both a parent and a CTE instructor here at Cumberland County. I have had 4 children go through this county. My youngest will be graduating this year. They've also had the opportunity to earn 2 associate's degree. 1 attended Gov School, and all of my children have played sports pretty much year-round while attending. So with that said, I'm here to advocate for funding for our school with a main focus emphasized on athletics and career and technical education programs. These 2 areas are essential to our students' success and closely align with the Virginia Department of Education's strong emphasis on work readiness and industry-recognized credentials. As a parent, I want my children and every student in Cumberland County to feel connected, supported, and motivated to succeed. Our athletic programs play a vital role in that mission. They build discipline, teamwork, leadership, and resilience. For many students, sports are not just an activity, they are the reason they stay engaged in school, maintain academic performance, and develop a sense of belonging. As a health and medical science instructor, I see firsthand how impactful CTE programs can be. My students are not only learning in the classroom, they are learning in real-world settings that are preparing them for careers in healthcare. They're working towards industry-recognized credentials that can lead directly to employment for further education in high demand fields such as nursing and other athletic programs. In addition to health sciences, Cumberland County offers valuable in-house CTE pathways such as cybersecurity, agriculture, cosmetology, and culinary arts, just to name a few. These are programs that give students practical real-world skills and career direction. We also rely on partnerships with SVCC to provide access to high-demand trades such as welding, HVAC, and automotive, as you've already heard. These opportunities are critical, but they're also highlight a gap. Many of our students must leave our county during the school day to access these programs, which can create barriers and limit participation. Without funding, our students will miss these opportunities. These opportunities depend on funding properly trained and qualified instructors, up-to-date equipment, and access and certification testing. Teaching in specialized fields like health sciences, culinary, just as examples, require more than just general teaching education. It requires industry experience, ongoing training, and the ability to stay current with ever-evolving standards in most fields. Without adequate funding, it becomes increasingly difficult to recruit and retain professionals who are qualified to provide this level of education. Additionally, we must recognize the growing challenge many of our students are forced to leave the county to access advanced training opportunities, specialized programs, and employment pathways that are not currently available. It often means that students will not return to contribute to our community. By strengthening our CTE programs and expanding credentialing opportunities here at home, we can better prepare students while also encouraging them to build their futures here in the county. The Virginia Department of Education has made it clear that industry credentials are a priority and our students are capable of meeting and exceeding those expectations. But but they need the resources, instruction, and support system in place to do so. Investing in our athletics and CTE is not an extra. It is a strategic investment in our students, our workforce, and our community's future. These programs increase engagement, reduce dropout rates, and produce graduates who are prepared to enter the workforce with skills that matter. I understand that budget decisions are never easy, but I urge you to view this as an investment with lasting returns. By supporting trained educators, strengthening CTE pathways, and maintaining strong athletic programs, you are investing directly in the success and sustainability of the county. Thank you for your time.
Scales?
Good evening, Board of Supervisors members. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Scales, and I am a native of Cumberland County. And as many of you know, my family is fully into education. In fact, actually, our family was in Cumberland County schools in some way, shape, or form for 102 consecutive years. And so tonight, I'm here to strongly advocate for fully funding our schools. And not because my 3 daughters finished here, all of them are finished, one's got a doctorate, other 2 have masters, that's not the main thing. The main thing is I know that when they left here, they had an outstanding education. My thing is this, my concern is, if you allow this budget to not be funded, y'all don't know what the Cumberland schools went through when we had to do RIFs. Reduction in forces are not fun. And when you talk about overloaded classes, you don't want to have one teacher with 30 students in a classroom trying to teach and trying to meet standards. That's what I'm concerned about. I understand about money. I'm a public administration minor and I'm a political science major. So I understand where you are. I understand y'all in a tough position. But as an educator, I'm concerned that if you don't fully fund this, we're going to have some issues. Because number one, now I now work in the Department of Corrections as a regional principal. I don't want to see our kids there because they didn't get the education before they got there. I got to be honest with you. I don't want to see them. And this is the thing. I've been in the Department of Corrections 6 years, and I have seen kids from other school divisions that I used to work at. I don't want to see Cumberland County kids start coming here because they don't get the education, don't get the support, not able to get the programs from Southside, the dual enrollments, the government schools. Those programs are working. And this is another thing. I'm not in the school system, but I am in the school system. I still mentor. I still come by the schools, and I've gone to all 3 schools. and all 3 schools are doing great. We got very nice facilities, but I would hate to have very nice facilities with empty classrooms, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to make us have empty classrooms if you don't support this budget. And then the other thing you're going to have is, again, teachers are dealing with classrooms full of kids that are more than what they should have by state standards. And that's another thing you got to understand. This is not just about budget money right here today. It's about down the road, because when you start cutting too deep, it took a Cumberland County schools a long time to get over that reduction in force. I came into Cumberland back from Blue Banner, and I saw those empty classrooms and saw the struggle my teachers were having, the teachers in the middle school, teachers in the elementary school. It took us a long time to get back to the point where we were actually a viable school division. A viable school division, please understand that. I don't want Cumberland High School, Cumberland Middle School, Cumberland Elementary School to not be viable schools. We have come a long way to be a flagship for this community. If you look at the schools in this area, we have students doing some great things, more so in the other counties around it that I've been. So please take consideration that our school students are worth it, our citizens are worth it. We need to have y'all to support the budget fully. Thank you.
With no other citizens sign up to speak, we will now open the floor for board member discussion. Public comments will remain open until April 21st, 2026. All interested citizens will have the opportunity to give written or oral comment until then by contacting our deputy clerk, county branch, and the county administrator office. Board member comments.
I can start. That's fine. Basically, I kind of feel like this is deja vu from last year. And I wasn't happy with the proposal last year. Of course, we made some changes. I do have a question about, and we didn't really have the same process this year that we've had in the previous 2 years. And of course, that's because of certain changes that took place at the county administrator level. But I do remember the last 2 years on this board that we went through the budget process. When it came to capital improvement, we agreed not to take monies and put it into that. We were going to more or less rely on grant funding for most of the capital improvement. And I might defer to Jennifer on that. Is that?
You'll see in the next presentation for the CIP how that's broken out. And so the only item that is included in CIP that is funded from the general fund would be the elementary school roof, which the board had discussed previously.
Okay.
Everything else would depend on grant funding, which.
Okay, that was the one question I had. Because I'm going to, I know we couldn't answer the speakers, but I think most of us took a tour of the schools. Spent the day with Dr. Shores and gang, and I've heard it repeated tonight about the condition of the bus facility, and I was shocked by the bus facility. I mean, for folks to work on buses, someone called it a canopy. It's a metal carport. It's a carport that to keep the guys out of the elements when it's raining, and it's just, to me, there needs to be something that we can do to address that situation. Now, I don't know if I would have, well, and I understand that, but I don't know if I would have agreement with my colleagues up here, but I had asked our former county administrator, we own a shell building in Commerce. I know that couple boards back that had that thing put up, but I know that money that was used for that building, I believe, came from Tobacco Commission grants. So I had asked the question, are we tied to certain uses for that building? If we are, is there a way to get an exemption? So I don't know, I don't want to direct our interim county administrator, but I'm going to ask the rest of my colleagues up here if I would have maybe a unanimous consent to ask our interim administrator to get an answer to that. So. That's a building that, for all intents and purposes, we currently own, and I think it could be a useful facility for something like a bus facility, maybe a shared space between that and Public Works, or animal control, I think needs more space. But I think we need to look at what we currently have and make the best use of our facilities. But I'm not happy with the thing that I wanted to make sure the last 2 years was that we did not lose state money. And I think we need to do whatever we can to make sure that we fully fund the school budget and not lose out on the state money. So I think we definitely need to take a long, hard look at that. The second thing I'd like to say, because I know this was geared more towards school funding, but there were other items in the budget that were short funded or not funded based on request. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the hot seat again, Ms. Cruz, but the board recently made a change in EMS providers. Current money that was allocated towards our EMS provider that we got rid of and brought in a second provider. And I believe that there was a savings associated with that to the tune of 12 to 15,000 or something like that.
That is what is anticipated for the short-term contract of
For the short term, but that was for current fiscal year that the money was already allocated in our previous budget. To me, it also is painful. I hate taking money from schools. I've had this conversation before. I also am one that knows that just throwing money at a situation doesn't make it better. But seeing what our schools work with how little that they currently have, I think is just kudos to every educator, bus driver, mechanic, anybody involved with our schools. I think you do a lot with a little, and you should be commended for that. But I also feel that we take advantage of our volunteer fire departments. With all these projects that we are approving in this county, we're dumping more and more responsibility on all 3 of our fire departments. And I would like to see us take that money specifically because it was already geared towards EMS. And I would like to divvy that up amongst the 3 fire departments and whatever that number would be if we're going to not give them an increase over last year. Those are my 2 remarks.
Thank you. Regarding the Shell building, the EDA, IDA actually owns that building. We have had a discussion with EDA. They've looked at it favorably. And I believe, Dr. Shores, that you've had some of your administrators go down and take a look at the building to see if it would work out. So that's all good. One of the things that I think creatively we came up with is, could we not only have the bus shop in there, but could we also have auto shop in there or education? And if that's the case, Mr. Scudder, that's what we would take back to the Tobacco Commission as our exemption. I will say this is poor Shell building. It's been there since 2017. We've had numerous parties look at it, and we just can't do anything with it because it's a very large building. Well, it could accommodate large school buses, which I think is a perfect match. So I think it's a good fit. I will say that if we could find a way, probably the most creative way would be maybe a lease, but we need to analyze lease versus a gift. And worst case, I think the Tobacco Commission amount, I think, was like $250,000. So I think the Shell building is very, very doable for the bus depot and would fix a rather tragic almost problem in that area right now. I too went up there and literally walked a 2x10 plank across mud puddles to get through it. And then I was informed that for restrooms, that they had to go back into the LPGA annex to actually use the restrooms. I was kind of, well, that's just unacceptable. So to that end, I don't want to dominate this conversation, so Eureka, please.
Being a native of Cumberland County, an alumni of Cumberland County Public Schools, had 2 daughters to come through there. Being a current educator myself, that travels an hour and 15 minutes to work each day, I know what it means when you don't have, when your school system don't have. And also served on the school board for 2 terms. Had to go through the budget. Had to sit there and say, what are we going to cut in order to be able to survive the upcoming year? So I want you all to know that your concerns are not falling on deaf ears. It hits home. We live here. The school system is what we have. The students are our future. And as I tell students, education may be better right now, but in the end it's sweeter, the knowledge that you gain and be able to take outside of Cumberland. Cumberland has produced a lot of great people that have gone on and done great things. And so just because we're sitting up here, we're not making any facial expressions, doesn't mean that we don't hear, doesn't mean that we don't care. And I am in agreement with Mr. Hamlet, and like I had informed Mr. Stamey last year, I'm going to inform you, Mr. J. So let's go back, revisit the budget, and we need to make this happen.
She said exactly what I was going to say at the end of what I'm getting ready to say. Our school system, our educators, our brick buildings, our resources in Cumberland County are second to none. Greatest asset, greatest group of people. And this is an investment that I believe supporting it 1,000%, whether it be through what we're talking about now with budgets and volunteerism, because I know the people that work in that school, the parents do a lot to accommodate the needs. And there is no better need than what we need. We need to support school systems. And we should not have to go through this every year at the beginning of the session. You know, this is one of those things, and again, this is our 3rd budget. I'm always like, man, why are we hitting this brick wall? This should be the first thing we write a check for, to make sure we're getting the best value with the best educators and the best resources, and that you guys sit in the audience, and the ones that couldn't make it here, and the ones that drive the roads day in and day out to bring those kids to school functions, sporting events, get home safely, get to school safely. And I want to commend each and every one of you guys. Thank you. And I'm fully supporting you guys.
Well, I'm gonna say sometimes it's best to be last. But some things that Ms. Eureka said was true, and Dr. Scales and Ms. Vaughn. I met her because if I don't, I never hear that stuff. So it's got to go back and look and see what we can do. Okay. Next is the next agenda item is a public hearing for proposed SIP, which is the Capital Improvement Program for fiscal year 2027 to 2032.
Your recommended CIP, Ms. Cruz just went over that, presented the initial CIP request to the planning commission.
Hold on, Mr. J, let's give him a moment to do.
Excuse them, they've got to get up early in the morning. My apologies.
For those that are endured standing, please take a seat.
Okay, Mr.
Thank you, Ms. Tyree. Recommended FY '27 CIP to FY '31. CIP process to date. You presented the initial CIP request to the Planning Commission at their November 25 meeting. You saw feedback that evening and again at a joint workshop on January 8th, 2026. There was no expressed concerns from the Planning Commission, mostly feedback related to grant programs. Your preliminary CIP presented to the board on February 5th at the 2026 budget workshop. So as Ms. Cruz mentioned, their FY '27 vehicle replacements for the sheriff are $180,000. Animal control renovations are the $180,000 they said might be funded by the speed cameras revenue. We'll see how that goes as we follow that along from month to month. 50,000 animal control renovations funded with donations, and the courthouse is kind of hanging in the balance and not included in this current budget. Fire and EMS, 150,000 for breathing apparatus replacement for volunteer fire departments. That was recommended on a case-by-case basis
Grant money.
for grant funding, like you mentioned. Parks and Recreation request included gym roof replacement. That's not in the budget. The Bear Creek Connector Trail, that would be grant funded. And information technology request for servers replacement is not included in the budget. Excuse me. The school CIP request includes the bus shop, construction, can you do this for me? And the upgrades to the boiler.
Upgrades
Sorry.
to the boilers for the elementary school as well as the roof replacement. The recommended budget does include a $500,000 for the roof replacement.
The elementary school.
For the elementary school, yes, sir.
Sorry.
And with that, we'll take any questions.
We have 2 citizens signed up, Rumor Jamerson. Is that right? Ms. Jamerson? Okay. And Ron Tavernier?
Pass.
Pass? Yes, sir. Okay, with no other citizens signed up to speak, we will now open the floor for board member discussion. Public comments will remain open until April 21st, 2026. All interested citizens will have the opportunity to give a written or oral comment until then by contacting our deputy clerk, county branch, and the county administrator office. Her phone number is 804-492-3625. 492-3625. Board members.
I just want to say, yes, I forgot about the roof, so I'll remember the roof now.
Yeah, the roof.
We actually, what do we start at with looking at roof options? I know it was
1.1 or 2 million, I believe, something like that.
right.
$450.
And anyway, it's earmarked from last year. With that concludes public hearings. We have additional information in your board packet for treasury report, DMV report, etc. Now we'll move on to the public comment period. Only individuals who have signed up for the public comment period will be allowed to speak when called upon by the chairman. Members of the board of supervisors, county or county officials will not respond directly to questions asked during the public comment period. Instead, answers will be directed through the county administrator at a later date, whatever he has on catching it. Please provide contact information on the sign-up sheet to all proper responses by the county administrator. Betty Myers, Steve vote.
I'll pass.
Pass. April Morris. There's April.
Okay. The upcoming events for Cartersville, Fire Department, this Saturday, April 18th, we have our spring dance at Slate River. That's from 8 to midnight. Then May 2nd, we're having a vendor event for Mother's Day. There's still some open spots. If you know anybody who has something to sell, let us know. On May 9th, we are going to have a Mother's Day brunch that is free. That is for you to bring your mother, and our guys are going to serve them food. We had our cornhole event that did not go very well. We have a whole bunch of events coming up. We hope people will actually come and support. We've had all 4 trucks that had something wrong with at the same time. And we've spent over $10,000 recently on repairs. So we need the fundraising. So come out, help us any way you can. Thank you.
Next is Tom Schwartz.
I'm Thomas Schwartz with the Moore Carey. Just going to give you guys a little update. I know we said we wanted to open by May 1st. And I would love to say we're going to hit May 1st because the boss is back there. But we're probably looking at the middle of May. I'm going to pull the permits on Monday. It's going to be a 12-day build out. I'm going to have the inspector out there 3 to 4 times. Our patient portal will be opening up on May 1st. So we'll start scheduling for appointments, but we're looking somewhere in the middle of May to the beginning of June before we actually going to open doors. The big holdup is going to be coming up with the funds for the parking lot. As you know, we're completely self-funded, so we've already forked in over $200,000, so now we got to get the parking lot done. So, but we'll do the best we can. Soon you will have a medical provider in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is Dolph Davis.
Can I have Betty's 3 minutes also?
Yes.
Do we tell where we live and everything? I haven't. Okay, Dolph Davis, 1377 Deep Run Road with my wife. So let me try to mix all this in really quick. In my my past employer was the United States Marine Corps. I was an aviator and a ground guy. And whenever there was something big going on, the big guys up top who wear the stars, they put together what they call a civilian would be a feasibility study. And we never heard about it until it was time for us to hear about it. And one reason, and I know we got some vets in the audience, we got Ron and Paul and some other people, but there's a word called, William, scuttlebutt. And scuttlebutt's rumor and stuff that goes around. Scuttlebutt's not always a good thing because it's not always the direction where this planning is going. And why am I saying that is I read Brian's write-up in on the Facebook, and I had talked to John about the write-up, and Ron mentioned it earlier. There's something big that could possibly come to Cumberland County that could just dwarf anything that we have on the docket for revenue. I know that there was some discussion about an NDA and some disagreement as far as how it was put together or who was involved in knowing about it, but I caution the board, and I know, Brian, you've been very vocal about transparency, but don't let the cat out of the bag, and I'm not telling people what to do, but until everything is where it needs to be, where we as residents can find out what's coming down. At that point, we can decide good, bad, ugly, we're going to take it. But from what I understand, Virginia buys most of their electricity. Okay, so there are power plants that are needed in Virginia. Now, I don't know a whole lot, but I know that this project might not be something that is gigantic, but it would provide a huge revenue source for the county. So all I'm asking is, you guys do your job, figure out what you need to do. When the time is right, present it to us. Then we can decide whether it's a good thing for the county, if it's a bad thing for the county, and then go from there. So that's all I have to say is I appreciate everything you're doing. John, you're a duty expert at this. You guys get together, figure this stuff out, and we look forward. And the other thing that I understand, and I don't know if you can answer this is true, but there's another county that might be in the mix for this, is that there's other. So I said we put on a happy face, find out what this is all about, because if it comes to Cumberland County, I think the school budgets and a lot of budgets will be, might not be solved, but it's going to be a better day for Cumberland County. That's all I got. Perfect.
Pam Martin, sorry.
I'm going to give you my, even though you talked about it before, I'll give you my 2 cents in 3 minutes. So, good evening. My name is Pam Hardy. I live at 53 Anderson Highway, an area that's going to be directly affected by the proposed Dollar General project. And I'm here to express my opposition to the proposed Dollar General. This is not about opposing development. It's about choosing development that is safe, reasonable, and appropriate for our community. There's already a Dollar General just 7 miles down the road, and adding another one here does not meet a real community need. What it does add is unnecessary traffic on a stretch of road that is already dangerous. This section of roadway is a long, straight passing zone where drivers routinely speed. And we all know the accident history here. Multiple crashes, serious injuries, and fatalities. Introducing a store entrance in the middle of the straightaway will force cars to slow down, turn across traffic, and back up unexpectedly. That combination is a recipe for more accidents, not fewer. And this location is a quiet residential area. Families live here. Children wait for their buses here. People pull out of their driveways here. Dropping a high-traffic retail store in the middle of a residential stretch fundamentally changes the character and safety of the neighborhood. And on top of that, the store will be located near the proposed dump site. That means heavy garbage trucks on the road all day at high speed, where shoppers, delivery trucks, and turning vehicles will be. Combining those two projects in the same location multiplies the danger. It's not just inconvenient, it's unsafe, and it's irresponsible. Finally, I want to address something many residents still remember. When the board voted to move forward with the dump project, despite overwhelming opposition from the community, it left people feeling like their voices didn't matter. And it also left many wondering whether that decision taught the board that it could move ahead with projects even when the public is strongly against them. I hope that's not the lesson that was taken from that vote. I hope the lesson is that people do pay attention. We will speak up, and tonight I'm asking you to show this community that our voices count by putting safety and common sense first. Thank you very much.
Ron, you're signed up again?
Maybe one knows I'm gonna read. And Ron Severny, 51 Ruby Lane, District 2. I was happy to hear that people do support my theory about converting that shell building into a bus terminal, automotive shop, trade center. I'm a graduate of the trade school, and it did me well my whole life. I graduated from a brand new $14 million school in the very first year it was open. Some of the things I got though is the school budget. I keep hearing about this level funding and everything else. My understanding from when I was on the board is that the federal states how much they're going to give to the school, the state says how much they're going to give to the school, and the state tells the county, you will provide this. That's the minimum. You have to provide that. Anything above and beyond that is up to you to allocate. So if that's what it takes to keep the state funding, we've got to meet that. There's no option, no choice. It's mandatory. Right? I'm going to keep a little praise on school. I have 3 grandchildren that graduated from it, actually 4, but 3 of them have gone on in the world to make really good of themselves. One just graduated from George Mason with a degree in engineering, has already been hired at a 6-figure job. One is in marketing, working in the Richmond area and doing extremely well. My grandson Kyle was a big football player here. He's now in the Navy, married, 2 children, owns a house in Newport and Richmond, Hampton, Maryland. Norfolk, whatever. Just re-enlisted, collected a $50,000 bonus. He went through the dual enrollment program. His scores were so high when he went and did his ASVABs, but he recruited through the paperwork on the table and says, what do you want to be? Right? He's a jet engine mechanic on fighter jets. Sorry to the Truman, Floyd twice already. Fortunately, that ship lost 3 planes in the water while they were there. Transparency has always been a touch word, a key word, a phrase that people throw around quite a bit. We never really felt like we got transparency. I didn't, I believe most people did. We got the transparency we deserved from the Board of Supervisors pertaining to the conditional use permit and the host agreement for the Greenridge. It was signed in the same night, very little attention given to it. You've almost given more attention to the Dollar General than you've given to Greenridge, right? And now I'm hearing that their lawyer, I won't use his name, is wanting to talk about the host agreement. Are we going to be made aware of what changes he wants to make? Let's look at a few of them. They reduced the size of the landfill, cost us money, okay? They changed the entry to the landfill to avoid messing with wetland. Now using Pine Grove Road with 18 or 19 homes that are going to have 75 of their trucks going in and coming out every day. That doesn't count local contractors and other people just using the road to get to dump. Pine Grove Road is not designed for the heavy weight and use of vehicles, right? So I have a problem with that. I feel that if Schumacher comes to you and wants anything, it needs to be brought to the people, okay? And as far as the playground equipment goes, heck, somebody solicited a bunch of money from Greenridge for parks and recreation equipment here in the county, wanted to get some more money for the school's equipment. Thank you.
Next is Jim Martin.
Got 2 hats on again tonight. We're going to talk about animal control. Up to April the 13th of this month, we've taken in 45 calls for service, 5 strays, 8 surrendered, 6 seized, 0 transferred in, 5 transferred out, 0 euthanizations, and 1 adopted and 1 returned to the owner. They have a great network that they can get these dogs placed out to other areas and other rescue groups, which the staff is wonderful. We also are working on moving the dog runs that's directly out back, John knows where this is at, and having maintenance make a new pad out into natural shade, possibly putting a cover over it and expanding the run. And I think the rock is coming in next week, and then we can proceed moving everything. So that's in the works. They have 14 in-house right now, 2 are in foster care. It would be great if we could find more fosters to hold some of these dogs. We've got a dog that's highly stressed right now, and really needs to go into somebody that can help take care of it. Any volunteers? Something about the speed zone cameras. I just ran into an issue with Chesterfield. I was going exactly 10 miles through a speed zone, not knowing it, and I got a citation in the mail from the third-party person. When I called to see if this was legitimate, there's nothing there. It's got a QR code scanned on it. And when I called Chesterfield, they know nothing about this. They can't answer any questions. And then when I got to researching online, in Chesterfield, there was in the news that they had had an issue in another speed zone, and everything gave tickets below 10 miles an hour. So that had to be recalibrated. But the concern I have is I was researching, and DMV and others say they do not do QR codes because they could be a scam. So what I did on the bottom of the form, it says if I want to appeal this, send for a court address to be hearing. No answer. So I don't know if this is legit or not, so I hope you don't run into it with these third parties, that are people gonna be able to find out if this is legitimate or not? They want you to pay it. I'm not paying anybody, I don't know who I'm paying. So that's all the advice I'm gonna give.
And finally on the list is Tim Martin.
I would like to defer my comments. I would like to have a representative from the Dollar General Corporation. So for that reason, I'd like to pass.
And that ends the public comment period. And now, the last major item on the list is chairman and board member comments.
Like we always start here. I mean, I'll start it. First off, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. This is your meeting. This is your business that we're conducting on your behalf. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to show up. It shows that you care. And I, for one, appreciate that. I know we all do. A couple of things that I would like to make comment on. When it comes to speed cameras, and I'll open this up for anyone up here who might know more than me, but I do believe that Daryl's office, Sheriff Hodges' office will be reviewing any ticket that comes through there to make sure that it's legit. So prior to going out, because that is his office that's handling that, I do believe that someone will be reviewing any citation that's due to a speed infraction with those cameras. So I want to hit on the post that Mr. Davis alluded to earlier. And obviously, when you find out from a constituent, when they question you, what project have y'all approved that I don't know about that's going on behind my house? What project is going on? And you're like, what are you talking about? We haven't approved anything going behind your house. Stop BSing me. There's work going on behind my house. What is going on? And then you have to do some digging and find out. To me, I found fault with the process of that project. But I wanted to make sure, and I tried to do so with my post, that, in my opinion, what may be a flawed process should not cloud a potential good project. And after my initial post, I did have a representative from Dominion Energy reach out to me and asked to set up a meeting. Now, this took place in a public place with other people in that room that heard everything that was discussed. So I feel I'm at liberty to share a couple points with you because I think it's very important. They explained to me the process, the project, that it's a 3 gigawatt natural gas fired electric power plant. Just to put that in perspective, we hear everything about solar farms. It would take over 75,000 acres of solar panels to produce that amount of energy, and solar is not working 24/7. Excuse me?
I was looking over, asked a question, but.
Okay. Is there a problem with me sharing this because it's out in the public?
We need to wait till we get some more.
I'm just talking about a personal experience that Dominion shared with me. And I do think that it has the potential to be a very beneficial project. And I hope the process doesn't cloud the public's judgment when it comes to the potential benefit of that project. We're talking big revenue for this county. All right. Thank you, and God bless. I mean, not really, but I will be. I said, thank you, God bless.
Eureka, please.
Thank you all for coming out this evening, taking time out to come out to express your concerns, not only for the school, but for the county as a whole. I will always say, when we work together, we can accomplish so much more. Divided we fall, but unity, we grow stronger and accomplish so much more. Yes, we want to fund every organization that comes to us. We can't fund them if the citizens don't want companies and resources to come to Cumberland. We're gonna have to give in order to get. And it's a hard job to sit up here. We want to fund everyone, but then we have citizens saying, no, don't allow this to come in the county, don't allow that to come in the county, that we are ethical, that we're Christian, because we're looking at the big picture of looking out for Cumberland years down the road when none of us are no longer here. So we asked them, like when you all came out tonight to support the school, when these businesses and organizations are coming before us that can be beneficial to the county, let's pack this courthouse again in support of those businesses and organizations that wants to come to Cumberland.
Well, I'm good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to bring up again the intersection of Route 60 and Blenheim. When you saw Brian Locker's map today, you saw a stretch of road and these little dots on it. One thing I've learned from the previous hearing, we had feedback from the people in that area, is how many accidents there have been. Kipper Beasley pointed out that there was a discrepancy in how many accidents and things that were being reported. I just went to the VDOT database and I got an eye opener. Number one, sadly enough, on November 4th of 2025, an 18-year-old from Chesterfield County lost his life at that intersection. And there is a teddy bear right now tied to that tree. And I watched the parents put that up with other young children in the car. That's not in the VDOT database. And what's interesting, if you take the VDOT database and you do this around the intersection, you get one answer of how many accidents. You move it just a little bit, and that number significantly increases. And you go out a little bit more, and you see it. There's more than one fatality at that intersection. There are many fatalities. And again, you come out a little bit further, and there's another one. And I'm not picking on you, ma'am, but it looks like there's almost one by your driveway, right?
Yes, we saw that one. We went down and we saw it.
And I believe it's a straight road.
Yep.
It's a perfectly straight road that has accidents. Number one, that's not a place to have a retail store. Number two, so our county plan, strategic plan, basically says that's a rural area. Now we have other areas identified for development, both in these little bubble charts and then others that are just words, but not that area. But not all that area belongs to Cumberland. It also belongs to Powhatan. You can go look at their plan, which is on the internet, and that's all rural. So when the comprehensive plans from 2 counties say that it's all rural, what are the questions do we need answers? That combined with a multitude of fatal accidents at that intersection. So I don't have anything personally against Dollar General. I think it's actually a well-run company, and I've had good feedback from people that said they would like something in that area, but not there. So I encourage Ralston to come back, work with us, work with other locations that are in appropriate areas for that kind of development, but not there. I want to thank everyone for coming. I know it's been a long meeting, I know everyone's tired, and a lot of information's been portrayed tonight. I appreciate your patience, and I do appreciate all the input on the budget process. That's good for this board to hear. So thank you very much. And next meeting, read the motion to adjourn.
Well, the next meeting of the adoption.
Our next meeting is 6 o'clock on April 21st here. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hamlin?
Aye.
Mr. Newman?
Aye.
Ms. Tyree? Mr. Stimson?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Johnson.